This video is for my class group leading proposal for HSCO-511, and my group consisted of 5 police officers and their spouses. Conducted a group on February the 8th, 2022 at Mount Hood Community Center in Welches, Oregon. The group was for 1 hour. Had 3 different sessions, and the plan had 5 different sessions. The first 3, the spouses of the first responders. The last 2, bringing the first responders in with the spouses. One of the reasons why I chose this is because I'm a retired first responder myself that dealt with trauma and horrific things throughout my career as a first responder, and was diagnosed with cumulative PTSD and post-shooting trauma back in 2009. And I know what goes on with the stress that comes with first responders and the family members. The first responder is going to deal with a horrific thing at work, and when they come home, they're not going to share that with their spouse because they think that they're protecting their spouse, not sharing that information to them, in which in return, all it's doing is actually hurting that spouse. I would introduce myself, just like I am here, explain to them that I'm not a therapist and that I'm there to help them in this group session and share my own life experiences from that. The main thing is to allow these first responders to feel what's going on with them and to share with their spouse what's going on. Because if they don't share with their spouse, the spouse in turn doesn't know what's going on with them, and it's going to end up hurting their marriage, and it's going to bleed over into their family with the children and everything. So my goal is to explain all that, the first 3 sessions of with the spouses, and bring in and ask them to speak about what is bothering them. I am co-leading the group by myself, but I did bring in several experts one was an active police chief with Sandy Police Department, Sandy, Oregon, and the other one is a retired Department of Homeland Security agent that worked with child trafficking for 23 years that lived in Tacoma, Washington. That's had their fair share of trauma as well. Once the first responder comes in and we have the first responder and the spouse talking, I'll explain that, trauma is something that is unseen. You can't see it, smell it, you can feel it physically as well as mentally. The DIRAD that I would, explain would be the 3. Which one is it? Fear, family, or the community from the first responder, and let them break off into groups with their spouse for 10 to 15 minutes to speak about that, then come back. And then once they come back, get feedback from them. Like I stated before, there's 5 first responders and 5 spouses. The group consisted of 10 people, but the first 3 sessions would be just the 5 spouses. And out of the 5 first responders, the one thing that they were concerned about the most was fear, which is fine. And fear comes from the family. They're fearful for their family, and then themselves, and then the community. So they were putting their family first, the spouses and their children, and then fearful for themselves. So, and then the numbers round, same thing. They expressed that they were more fearful for their family than they were of themselves or the community. The main thing that I can say is that in order to get over the trauma, get over the horrific things that you see on a daily basis, is to be open with yourself first. In return, be open with your spouse. Do not hide anything from your spouse. Allow them to feel what you're feeling, because if you don't, it's going to sneak up on you and cause other major issues down the road, which can be detrimental to you and detrimental to your spouse. With the current trend in police officers right now, there are more police officers that take their lives by their own hand and first responders that take their lives by their own hand than they're killed in the line of duty. So I think group sessions would be something that is very good for the first responders and families to explain to them and just put the information out that they're okay, they're human, they're going to feel. And go through those steps like I just explained on the dirads. The three of them would fear, family, and community. And out of those three, it was obvious that the family came first, and then themselves, and then the community. So we just need to make sure that we support our first responders. I know that there's some things that's went on in the past that it's not good for first responders, but you can't judge the book by its cover, and all first responders are not bad. Just like throughout everything else in the world, other occupations, there's bad people and there's good people. So I've done this group for this assignment, but I've actually held this group in the past when I was an active first responder myself, to help some of my men and women that were under me understand that trauma is real and that they can deal with the trauma as long as they're open and honest with each other. I hope you have a great day and stay safe, and God bless.